Hello, everybody. Why do I feel like I'm in grandmother's house and the big bad wolf is outside? Maybe it's just the energy. I don't know. But this is my new Airbnb where I'm going to be broadcasting from today. If you're new here, thanks for joining me. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a spirit navigator. I'm a psychic medium. Today we're going to be talking politics. My God, what is happening, right? Well, I'm going to do my best to talk to my spirit guides and tell you what they're telling me is happening, right? So let's get started. You sent in your questions. I'm very grateful for you. Thank you so much. Lucy Claire says, I trust Holly and Paul about as far as I can throw them. So many are scrambling for some credibility post 45 because the question is, Good Karma says, will Josh Hawley and Rand Paul stay strong in the Senate and help prevent the bigly bad budget bill from passing? Well, I happen to agree with Lucy Claire. I do not trust them, and I'm sure that Good Karma doesn't trust them either. Let me say that right, exactly. They're just telling me Lucy Claire's right. They're everybody's in this for their own reasons. So I think that's important for us to understand from the get-go is that sometimes we're going to have strange bedfellows, meaning we're going to be in alignment with people that we wouldn't normally be in alignment with, like Rand Paul. I'm going to leave Josh Harley out of this for a minute because, well, I'm not, never mind. The guides are telling me Josh Harley, he's basically trying to get something, he's holding out to get something, right? So he's just holding his vote up a little bit to get something that he wants. So he's going to fold like a cheap card table, is what they just said. Okay. I don't know. Do cheap card tables fold? Maybe. Let's move on to Rand Paul, who is really a bigger piece of the puzzle here. And I dislike both of these men to say the least. But I will say about Rand Paul, when I go into his energy, is he feels angst. He feels upset in his body, like he gets indigestion, he gets heartburn. Like this bill really makes him physically ill, which might be karma. I don't know. Like if you ask me, I mean, I'm just saying, right? Like, hello, dude, you're Republican and voted for all these people to be in office, and now you're reaping the rewards of your votes. Like have the day you voted for, as we say these days. But Rand Paul is a bigger picture. And here's what I want to tell you about that. First of all, he's seasoned. Now, again, I do not like this man. Do not take anything that I'm going to say as any kind of endorsement of him. This is literally me reading the energy. Okay. So he's seasoned and he knows that he's got something bigger, a bigger role to play than Josh does. And that is because he knows that he has a bully pulpit. The guides are saying those words. He can go on some of these podcasts or whatever they are, shows, and rile up his libertarian base, rile up even, Kentuckians. I mean, he could jump out of his fan base, which is libertarians and pretty much super conservative people, and go into regular Republican land in Kentucky and say, this bill is so bad for you because, right? I mean, he could be the truth teller. Okay, that they would believe him. Like they would be like, wow, okay, like Rand Paul says this is really bad for us, then it's really bad for us. He has a much bigger cudgel or a much bigger hammer to wield than Holly. And Holly is just Holly's Holly. We're just not going to talk about him anymore. But Rand Paul could be a game changer. He is a real threat. Okay, so the guys just said he's a real threat to this administration. He's spoken out against the Mad King, or Taco Bell, as I think is a great name for him as well. If you're not familiar with the taco, Trump always chickens out taco. That's what the financial world has named him. Now, of course, you and I, us liberals, we got all kind of names for him, but I'm talking the actual financial world said these are taco trades. He's always going to chicken out of these tariffs. And, people are riding his tariff boom and bust cycle. And that got back to the Mad King, and he's feeling some kind of way about it. He's very upset about it. But so when you go back to Rand Paul's a threat. And Rand Paul wants let's just say that everybody understands how much they bring to the table. How much credit do I have to spend? How much power do I have to wield? Josh Hawley, zero, zero. He's pathetic. Rand Paul has power because he can go and talk to these, and he will. The difference is Josh Hawley will not, folds like a cheap card table. Rand Paul has a backbone. It's a crazy backbone, but it's there, and he could be potentially harmful to this bill. Okay, to the degree that he's talking to his constituents, but he's on these bigger podcasts, and he's got a pretty big uh, market that he can talk to. So I think that Rand Paul will stay strong to a degree. Everybody has their price, the guides are saying, and he has his price, and it may not be what he wants. He may still have to swallow the bitter pill. He may still have to, be upset about this, but there's some things that he wants. Some it feels like assurances, which I don't. Again, like, hello, Rand Paul, did you drink your own Kool-Aid? Because assurances, these people don't even understand what that word is. Like, their promise means zero. It means you're actually going to get screwed the opposite direction. Expect some more vitriol out of Rand Paul, but in the end, it's, I don't think, going to amount to much. So, I mean, maybe your question is, will this, and I think this question, I'm sure it's in here. There's over 100 questions that you guys have asked. Will this bill pass? And I feel like it will. They just said through procedure. I don't know exactly what that means, but I think it will pass. And I think that we're going to rue the day that it passed. And I think that a lot of Republicans are going to rue the day that it passed. And you and I, we just have to get through this, right? Like, on the other side of this is not us going back to the way things were. We're never going to go back to 1919. We're not even going to go back to 2024. We're not even going back 8 months ago. That's done. That time is over. Now it's about how can we manifest and create the best society and democracy that we can moving forward. Because once your house burns down, it's burned down, it's done. Now you got to figure out, how do I build a new house and what do I want that new house to look like? And that's where we're going to be. So I think that if we can just shift our mental energy and all of our energy towards, okay, they're going to burn this down. But I have to say, it was not the greatest house. We were just living in it because it was our house, right? We got comfortable with the hole in the roof and, the plumbing that didn't work. In other words, we got comfortable with the injustices. We got comfortable with the have nots and the haves and all of that. We got comfortable with that, but it wasn't sustainable. And now it's going to get burned down because that wasn't fair for a lot of people. Even though some of us felt comfortable, a lot of people were left out. Now we get an opportunity. As soon as these people burn it all down, believe me, they're going to hand it to the Democrats because that's what they always do. Go back and look at history. just look at the economic charts for every single president. You can see what happens, right? The Republicans take advantage and they rob the till, they take all the money, they do the thing, and then the Democrats pick it up and put it back together. But obviously, this is of a different magnitude. This is of a world changing, and not only United States changing, but world changing magnitude. But we will, on the other side, have an opportunity to put it back together. Okay. So it's all about taking care of yourself during this process of dismantling all of the institutions, which the spirit guides have been talking about since last year. I just didn't understand how serious they were when they said dissolving. I really didn't get it, but now we do, right? Okay, let's move on to some other questions. Laura writes, says Trump's pardons lately have been crazy. White men, white collar crimes. I mean, he's a white man with white collar crimes. I think he's got all kind of crimes, not just white collar. Every other color there could be of a collar. I think he's got those crimes too. He's good at that. He just pardoned Todd and Julie Chrisley, who starred in a reality TV show. Will these be overturned eventually? Will the Chrisleys go back to jail? Um, no, no. I don't think that they're going to be overturned because federal pardons are permanent. If the Chrisleys were charged and found to be guilty in a federal court, then the president's pardons are permanent. So I don't see that. The only thing that would be happening is if the state picked up the charges and then said, well, we feel like these people defrauded the state of whoever it was, and we're going to take them back to court. That could be happening. And I do see, you know what I see for the Chrisleys? I see like a bunch of civil lawsuits. Like there's going to be people, not only the state, like Kamala would always say, I represented the people, and she always came into the court and she said, the people versus, right? Like this is what I get is these states saying, no, these people defrauded my citizens, and I'm duly elected to represent them, and I'm going to hold this person accountable through this mechanism of court. So yes, I see that happening. And I would also just say, I'm going to jump in because this is the same energy, is Diddy, Puff Daddy, whatever you want to call him. He's actually in trial right now. And I have to tell you that the spirit guides showed me him getting off of the charges. And I wasn't really happy about that, to be honest with you. So when people tell you things you don't like, you just ignore them. I mean, that's what I do with my spirit guides. I just ignore them. I'm like, I'm not talking to you. Are you talking to me? Um, so, but I think that Trump could pardon Diddy. And I look, there's a real energy around him pardoning Diddy. It makes sense on all the levels because Trump likes to have power by adjacent power. So he's pardoning the Chrisleys, right? Like now they owe him a favor. P. Diddy comes with a lot of men. I hate to tell you, if you're watching the court case, there's a lot of men in social media commenting that they don't side with Cassie. They don't side with any of the women. They don't side with anybody but Diddy. So Trump buys power, right? He bribes, he buys things allegedly, and this is what he's doing here. So it's the same thing. It's justice denied, okay, as what the guides just said. And this is going to go on for a while, and then we're going to get a handle on it. But right now it's slippery. The guides are just showing it's very slippery. Like the lower courts are ruling against 45 or Taco Bell, and the higher courts are ruling for him. It's just a struggle right now. But it is very discomforting. It's very disorienting, and it's frankly maddening. But this is where we are, and it's part of the burning down. It's part of the taking the scales off of people's eyes. I know that you are seeing it clearly. God knows I'm seeing it clearly. But there's still a lot of people who don't see it clearly, who are still waking up by degrees. And these kinds of things that Taco Bell man is doing is helping people wake up. So there really is a reason. It's not like all this is happening for no reason. It's happening because we cannot continue the way we've been going with the unequalness of our society. We cannot continue with that. So many reasons, not even just the unequalness, but the climate, the whole thing. It's not working, and it's breaking down. And when it finally breaks down, we'll get a chance to, really get in there and change it. Okay, so let's see. Kelsey Loves Kitty says, is Anonymous truly a group working for the better good of democracy, or are they a foreign nefarious agent? Will anything good come from their big reveal set to come out the end of the month, or will it not? That is such a good question, Kelsey Loves Kitties, because this question has been popping up a lot, right? People are saying, what do they really do? Like they say, "Oh, we're gonna do this thing. We're going to announce this thing, or we're gonna reveal, we're gonna unmask these people." And in reality, they don't. Like they don't really come through with the goods. So there's a sense that what the guides are saying. What the guides are saying is they're placating. Who are they placating? Are they placating us or another? They're playing one against the other. There you go. Um, it's like when remember when the Republicans all said that Trump was going to expose the Epstein list? Remember that? Oh, we're going to expose the Epstein list. They've never done it, right? They've never done it. And it was all about just giving you juicy morsels to hold on a little bit longer, right? Like I'm finally gonna get my comeuppance, or I'm really gonna get to know this justice. And that's what unfortunately anonymous feels like to me. Like anything they give us is a morsel, is a juicy morsel to just keep us bated breath and keep us, focused over here instead of over there. So I feel like anonymous could be more than one group. How do we even know that it's not multiple groups? We don't know that. It just comes on as anonymous. We don't have any way to know who the real anonymous is and if there is one. So I would just say to not hang all of your hopes on anything right now. I mean that sounds scary, but it's not meant to be scary. It's meant to say there's not one lone ranger. There's not one magic bullet that's going to happen here. It's actually so many things that are in motion all at the same time. Like right now, they just showed me there's a group of government workers that have caught on, through watching how Elon and Doge has gone into all these other government agencies. They've seen what's happened. And when they showed up at their agency, they said, no, we're not going to let you in. We're not going to do that. So we're starting to figure out that we've got to put the brakes, or we've got to stand up. And it's not going to be any one magic bullet. It's going to be all of us independently, maybe not even knowing that the other person is doing something, but we just know we're doing something. And in the great field of the energetics, it all matters. We don't know exactly what everybody else is doing, but we know we're doing something, right? And I would just say to pace yourself. It is not up to you. You're not going to make or break this situation, right? So, really, the thing to do is just to say, this week, I'm going to do 3 actions, right? Like, I'm going to promote somebody's post. Like if you've got a local candidate or even a national candidate and you share their post, that's something. That's not nothing, right? Like part of I think our problem is educating people. It's just getting the word out about things. Because as these other people start to wake up, they're a little bit more receptive and then a little bit more receptive. So you don't want to go at them with a baseball bat, right? We don't want to do that, but we want to drop little crumbs for them to find. Drop a little statement. Nothing big, because big things make them knee jerk react to back, right? They're just like, nope, nope. But if you just leave a little intriguing statement and walk away, that's dropping the seed in their mind. They're going to Google it, they're going to figure it out, or they're going to ask you for more information. That's something that you can do, right? That's one of the things that you can do during your week. Another thing that you can do is maybe get the 5 calls app. Like right now, who would have thunk it? But in Texas, Cornyn is, and he is just as vile as anybody else, but he is one of the people, one of the senators who could vote against the act, the big bill. Or he could be a senator that gets the big bill, votes for a better version of it, right? At this point, I think it's going to pass, but we know the version that is in the Senate right now can't pass. So we know there's going to be a new version of it. So really, it's about putting pressure on him, because I think that something that we don't appreciate is how nervous these Republicans are, right? They've sold their soul to the devil for real. So they're between a rock and a hard place. On one hand, if they don't appease the devil, they're going to get primaried, and they're going to get primaried by a candidate that could potentially have $1 million or $2 million war chest via Musk or somebody. So they got to keep that master appeased. But at the same time, they live in this community, and they're going to get primaried by a Democrat. And do they trust? Really, when you go into Cornyn or any of these Rand Paul, any of these people's minds, they don't trust that Musk and Taco Bell are going to pull this off in the midterms in 26. So on one hand, they're like, maybe I should appease the voters. I should play both sides, right? Like, so your calls to these people have more power than you think they do, especially right now, because as the wheels fall off the bus for Taco Bell's administration, people like Rand Paul and Cornyn and all these other vile people, they're going to be like, oh, snap, right? Like, what if the unthinkable happens and these people cannot rig the next thing, and then I get voted out? So you're going to start seeing these politicians play both sides, like Rand Paul is, right? You're going to see them start to play both sides. And the more you pound them with phone calls and emails, show up at their office, the more they're going to actually listen to you. I'm not saying that Rand Paul or Cornyn or any of these people is going to turn into, or Josh Hawley's going to turn into a normal human being. I'm saying let's slide them from completely 1,000% horrible to maybe just 500% horrible, right? Like that's a big shift. That could save lives, right? Like they're not ever going to be normal, even a normal Republican at this point. But we can help them, give them the reason, like, hey, like if Cornyn calls up the administration and says, man, I got 5,000 people outside my office every day. Come on. That gives him backup to go to the admin and say, hey, I can't do this, right? So you have more power than you think. You really do. They want you to think you don't have any power. They want you to think that they're arresting everybody. They're arresting like 600 people a day. They're not gonna, we're millions and millions of people. The end result is we have more power than they do. Just be smart about it. Be very cautious about it. I always tell you guys, wear sunglasses, wear a hat, cover your tattoos, wear something bland, don't stand out, don't threaten anybody, don't get caught up in anything. Be as close as you can, lawful protester. Okay. All right, let's move on. Couple more questions. I'm going to do multiple videos because there's so much here, and some of these things really require a lot more energy work than I can do in just 5 minutes. Susan Lanigan says, will Netanyahu ever pay for the genocide in Gaza? Will their evil plans succeed, or will the Palestinians survive this nightmare and have a better future? I got to tell you that when this first went down, I got a download a lot like I did for Ukraine that seemed like this is written in stone, Susan. Like all this other stuff is spaghetti at the wall. Like we're not sure because there's a lot of human emotion, a lot of human free will. But when this stuff went down between Israel and Gaza and Palestinians, they told me there would be a two-state solution. Now, I got to say, they say crazy things to me, and I'm like, yeah, right. How's that going to happen? The problem is, and I'm reading energy. So if you're, don't come at me on either side, because I'm not on either side. Spirit is neutral. Okay. Please don't make me block you because I'm like hair trigger right now. Okay. So here's the problem. When I go into the people of Palestine, this is what I see. They have been sort of usurped. Their power's been usurped. They've been used as shields and puppets by these other outside forces that have come in and said, okay, we'll create a hospital for you or we'll feed you or whatever. Those outside forces have been violent towards Israel. Okay. But the way I see it, the Palestinians are lost people. They're sort of like lost in this whole thing. Like nobody's got their back. And I mean this in the Middle East, like who's got their back? There's nobody really standing up for them saying, like Egypt or anybody saying, "Hey, let's let's help these people." Okay? So that's kind of the problem here. Right now, when I look at the energy, and I would also say to you that Netanyahu does not represent all Israelis. He is a lot like Trump in that Taco Bell man does not represent, what does he represent? 30% is his approval rating, right? That's a lot like Netanyahu's. So I wouldn't say all Israelis, support him, but I would say that the energy is getting closer to a collapse of the energy is getting closer to Netanyahu getting schooled. I feel like, especially because now I see the Pope, right? The Pope has been talking a lot about this situation. And I feel like we're getting closer to a time where the Palestinians can have a protected area. I just see like a bubble. And I feel like if we could get the external influences that are coming in that are violent and get Israel, get these, very reactive energies that are fighting each other, and the Palestinians are the ones that are really having to deal with the result of that. So I feel like there's a bubble. I feel like there could be the blue hats. I don't know. I think that's one of those you things. But anyway, there could be like a ceasefire and like some sort of bubble around it. I just keep seeing bubble and I keep seeing protected and I keep seeing timeout. Okay. That is not a solution. That is a timeout. But I think it's enough that we can see the reality of the situation. Okay. I do think that once we get on the other side of this bully energy, of this authoritarian energy around, I always call them the triangle, right? You got Putin, you got Taco Bell, and you got Netanyahu. They're like the triangle of evil. Once we get on the other side of that, and there's a sense of waking up again, the shells, the scales coming off of the eyes. Once we get to that point, we're going to be able to see the horrors, not only in Palestine, but the horrors everywhere, the horrors of Ukraine, the horrors of what has happened in the United States, what is about to happen in the United States with these terrible bills and attacks on our freedom and attacks on our people. We're going to be in this place where we're in almost this kind of deep sorrow, this deep, almost ashamed of the overreactions of the excessive use of power is what the guides are saying. So this is a process. This isn't like snap your fingers and everything is better. You know, the guides are talking about look at what happened in Cambodia or in other places where in Syria, in all these places where there were horrible fighting and attacks on the civilians. It didn't get better. Like this takes a long time to come to your senses and rebuild, right? And forgive um and to work through that. And something they've often said, and it's so interesting because here we are, but something they've often said is South Africa, right? Well, you had Nelson Mandela who was able to bring the country together with very little, frankly, civil war. um there was true trials, there were trials, there were things, people were held accountable, but you still had citizens that had to get along and had to work a way through this. And that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to have to find a way to look that MAGA in the eye and be able to work out some kind of thing. That this is a big, long, huge process that's happening. So there's not a snap your fingers kind of thing. That's why I say take really good care of yourself, because this is not oh, we're just going to go back. We're actually going to go deeper into this loss of our identity, or this awareness that, wow, the United States hasn't been apple pie and 4th of July. It's actually had this whole other very sad and violent and unequal history and energy that they're trying to bury right now. Like they see this coming. They see the truth being shown to us. So what are they trying to do? They're trying to change our schools, like in Oklahoma, where they're trying to change all the whole curriculum around, where none of this existed. There was no slavery, there was no Holocaust, there was no there was never any people that weren't white that ever flew on a space shuttle. There was never any people that weren't white that had any kind of special thing that ever happened to them. They're whitewashing everything because they know what's coming energetically. They cannot stop, which is, we're going to see the truth. Now, if we're not whitewashed, if we're not brain dead in a cult, we're going to see the truth. But if you're brain dead in a cult and the truth is shown to you, you're not going to believe it, right? That's why this is a preemptive strike on us, because they know energetically, astrologically, any other way you want to call it, it doesn't matter. This is coming. Karma, the truth, a reckoning is coming for all of us, not just the United States and not just countries, but us personally, right? Are you in alignment with your beliefs? If you believe in equality, yet you're not practicing it, then that's going to be called into question. You're going to see that in some kind of way. So that's why they're rushing. That's why they're rushing so fast to try to dull the minds and put the blinders on people. Because when that light shines, they want their people to remain in the dark. Now, I don't see the majority of those people remaining in the dark, because it's almost like, if you ever had your eyes dilated, when you see light, it hurts. It actually hurts your eyes. You're actually like, oh my God, I can't, right? That's what they're going to do. The light's going to shine on them. It's going to hurt them. It's going to wake some of them up. Some of them are going to be aware, and they're going to make that transition out of the cult into clear thinking or independent thinking anyway, right? Some of them are going to stay in the cult, that's fine. But this is the sort of reckoning and awakening that's coming all over the world. Now, some countries have kind of dealt with this, and maybe they don't have as much to learn as other countries, right? So this is where we are. And I think that people like Netanyahu and Israel and all the other players, because there's other players involved in this, right? There's other Middle Eastern countries involved. There's certainly the United States is involved. We're all going to see the harm. It's a lot like, which is so bizarre, that you have these paradoxes, right? Like, this is a word that I had to learn this year in all new ways, and I don't like it. But the paradox of South Africa, Nelson Mandela, and then here we are with Trump bringing white South Africaners over here because they've been discriminated against. I mean, it's like, it's dystopia, it's paradoxes, but also a paradox of, it's like, when I don't know if it was Eisenhower, it was some president who said, I want the troops to see these horrific things, right? The gas chambers, the gulags, the concentration camps. I want soldiers, I want Americans, I want people to see this. I don't want to cover it up. I want them to see it so that we never do it again. This is why we have the Holocaust Museum. This is why we used to have, I don't even know if we have it anymore, but the Black History Museum in DC, because we should be educating our students and educating our kids about the horrors. But instead, paradoxically, right, you have people that like Netanyahu seem to be doing the same thing, or 45 Taco Bell doing the same thing, paradoxically, right? So that's what the reckoning does. The reckoning says, you made these choices, humans. Now you must see what you have done. You must see this. We're going to show it to you. We're going to blind you with it. And that's what's happening. That's why all this is going down, because they are trying to keep us from that enlightenment, right? That's why they're anti-woke. And with that, I'm going to end this video, but I'm telling you right now, I'm doing a lot more videos. So please subscribe if you're not subscribed. If you are a subscriber, you might need to turn on notifications, because my channel's getting a little bit of suppression because of the situation that we're in. So please do that. I also want to talk to you guys in the next video about Leonard Leo, the Federalist Society. So my next video is going to be about how Trump said that Leonard Leo was a sleazebag. Now, if you think that's going to go over well, you got another thing coming, right? So I'm going to post this video today. I don't know what today is. I think it's Friday. It is Friday. And then I'm going to post the Leonard Leo video tomorrow on Saturday. Okay. So I'm going to do a series of shorter videos. Let me know if that works for you, or if you'd rather me just gut it all out in an hour and 20 minutes. And also let me know how you're doing. Let me know in the comments how you're doing. Let me know if you have any questions. You can still ask questions on my community page. Go to the logo. You'll go to my main YouTube channel. Go to post. You'll see the very first thing is me asking you for your questions. So you can add your questions there. Take really good care of yourself. Let me remind you that I have a free online community. Did I say free? I did. I said free. It is free. It is called Lighthouse Keepers Crew, excuse me. And you can find out about it on my website, SusanLynnMedium.com. It's literally like no hassle. You just join up. The reason I did it is because suppression. We can't really, and this is going to get a lot worse. So this is why I did this now. My guides told me to do it, and I finally listened to them, which, I'm human. But yeah, I created it because you can go on there and you can say whatever you want. You don't have to worry about the thought police showing up to suppress you like they're doing me, because this membership is free and it's on a completely separate platform. So it's not on Meta, it's not on Facebook, it's not on Google, it's not on X or Twitter. It's on Mighty Networks, which is owned by a woman. And I pay to keep the lights on over there. So I hope you check it out and join over 2,000 people there, supporting each other, hanging out, and sharing and talking, right? If you want more than that, have a premium community. It's a whopping $12 a month. You can join and cancel anytime you want. But in the premium community, you get me. I do readings there. I do 3 events there a month. Plus, you get all the same things as in the other community. You can join them both. A lot of people are members of both communities. It's just like any other social media site you've ever been on. You can post, you can laugh, you can support, you can ask for support. It's all there. It's all included. Okay. And the last thing I'll say is I do have a class coming up. Please check out my website, SusanLynnMedium.com, for all of these things. But this class that I have coming up is with Afefe with Touched by Tarot. Check out her YouTube channel. If you haven't been in touch with her, you will want to see. She does political videos as well. And we are talking about the journey of your soul. Why did you come here? How do you take steps to activate your soul's journey, right? You can learn all about all of this stuff on my website, SusanLynnMedium.com. Take really, really good care of yourselves. I'll see you again several more times, to the point where you'll be like, golly, Susan, geez, stop posting. Or maybe not. I don't know. You guys take good care. We're going to get through this. We're going to get through this together. This is all free content right here. I'll have the whole free community as well. So believe me, we're going to support each other. We're going to get through this together. And if something happens on my YouTube channel, you can always join the free group to find out where I am and what's going on. But I also have a new YouTube channel for the same reason. The spirit guides are like putting backups of backups, like you back up your pictures. I'm backing up my online content so that if they decide to yank me, you got other ways to find me if you want to, right? I'll put all the information down in the description and I'll see you again real soon. For entertainment purposes only.